Welcome back to Smoky Ribs. I'm Russ Jones, and today I am making bacon. I did a bacon video about 3 years ago. It was just one pork belly from Lobels of New York. I decided to go back with the exact same meat because I had really good success with that before. It comes in 2-pound bellies. Each one is 2 pounds. I had 3 of them. I'm going to be doing 3 different flavors, and I'm going to be doing 2 different methods: cold smoked and hot smoked. We're going to get started right after this. This is the pork belly. It came from Lobels of New York. This is Berkshire pork. And earlier, I removed all the skin off of these. On the last video, I left the skin intact. I'm sure you've seen bacon in your supermarkets with a rind. You can do that, but I elected just to go ahead and remove all the skin off of these today. All right, now I'm going to show you how I'm going to do each one of these individually. First ingredient is pure maple sugar. Now you can use brown sugar. That's actually what I used on the last video, but this pure maple syrup is going to make it extra special. I need 1/2 cup of the maple sugar. You want to make sure your measurements are pretty accurate. That is 1/2 cup. Next ingredient, I'm using a kosher salt. That's what I used on the last bacon. It calls for 1/4 cup, so I'm just going to watch my measuring cup here and bring this up 1/4 cup. All right, on the cold smoked bacon, I will be using a pink curing salt, also better known as sodium nitrite. This is a container right here that I ordered just for this video. And while we're talking about that, I had a subscriber a few weeks ago, and he was wanting to know, would he be better off not using the nitrite, the sodium nitrite? A lot of people worries about that as a health issue, and especially if they're doing it themselves, you know, not knowing if they're putting the proper amounts in or whatnot. So there's a lot of things you can research online to make sure you are using the correct amount for the poundage of meat that you got. So what I'm putting in here is 1/2 teaspoon. A level, don't mound it up, level 1/2 teaspoon. That's it. That's all the pink salt it gets. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that this stuff is healthy. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have heard a lot of negative about it. But what you don't realize is you have probably been consuming quite a bit of it all your life and just didn't even realize it. The same molecule, the same sodium nitrite is present in celery, is present in spinach, other vegetables, and also a lot of the meats. Pepperoni in your pizza has got sodium nitrite. Ham that you have for Christmas, sodium nitrite. Sausage, sodium nitrite. Bacon that you buy at the supermarket, sodium nitrite. Oh God, any of your like charcuterie has sodium nitrite as a cure. So do some research on it, and that's up to you. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. And that's exactly what the hot version of this is for, because we will not be using it in that bacon. Ghost pepper powder, 100% pure ghost pepper. I'm going to heap this one up. This is a 1/2 teaspoon. Now more of this will be going on the outer part of the bacon once we get ready to smoke in 6 days from now. All right, now I'm just going to crack some black pepper in this. I'm not going to measure it. I'm going to say somewhere around 1/4 teaspoon. The only ingredients to this that's very important is the amount of salt, the amount of sugar, and the sodium nitrite especially. So you can mix and play with different flavors for your bacon. This is the first one. I'm going to mix this up, and we're going to put it in a vacuum seal bag. Be right back. So I'm going to take my first pork belly, and we're going to put this up here inside of this vacuum bag. And I'm going to dump the entire contents. This is enough cure for 2 pounds of meat. I'm going to put some on this side, flip it over. We're going to put some on this side. Then we're going to work this all in with our hands. Make sure you got good coverage. Back to the other side. It's a lot easier doing it like this instead of doing it and then trying to get it back in this bag. That way you got all the contents up in here. Just make sure you got good coverage all over your pork belly. I'm using my Vac Master, and we're not going to really pull a hard vacuum on this. If you look down here, we can adjust our vacuum time. All I want it to do is to vacuum just enough to pull a little bit of vacuum on it, but not a hard vacuum. I don't want it deforming the meat. I want the meat to lay good and straight. We're going to try 6 seconds. That's as low as it will go. Perfect. All right, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's really no vacuum at all. It mainly just sealed the bag. It only ran for 6 seconds. Once a day, go out to your refrigerator and flip this over. After a day or two, it's going to start rendering out a lot of liquid, and it's important that you flip this every day. So the next flavor, I'm using a cayenne. You can use jalapeno. You don't have to have it spiced at all. I love spicy things, and this spicy bacon is going to be really good. I know it is. So about the same thing, just a heaping half teaspoon should do it. Actually, this isn't as hot as the ghost pepper. I'm going to go in with a tad more. All right, so I'm going to mix this up. We're going to do the same thing I just did. We're going to bag this up. We're going to pull a vacuum with the Vac Master and into the refrigerator. On our final pork belly, I will be doing things a little different. It's going to get the same amount of salt, same amount of maple sugar. It will not be getting any sodium nitrite. It's not needed because this is going to be for our hot smoke, and that would bring it up to a temperature that would kill off any botulism spores. Normally, that's what the sodium nitrite's for in the cold smoke, is to fight off the botulism spores. And also, in addition to that, that is what gives bacon that distinct flavor, that pinkish color. Same is true with ham. If you did not add sodium nitrite to ham, it would not taste like ham. It would taste like pork roast. So there's your difference. That's true with a lot of other types of meat too that goes through a curing process. So in this one, I'm going to be adding 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to be adding 1/2 teaspoon of granulated garlic. And also, in addition to that, I will be adding 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Once this comes out of the fridge in 6 days, it gets washed off. It soaks for an hour to leach out any salt. And at that point, it goes into the fridge, uncovered to dry out for a couple of hours. And then we will be applying more black pepper to the surface of the pork belly just prior to going on the smoker. Ready? It has been 6 days. Today is Sunday, and here is the pork belly. And as you can see, look at all the moisture it's pulled out. I can tell just through this bag that this is firmed up quite a bit from what it was when it was fresh. Here is the other one. Same thing. There's all your moisture. Now, as a way to identify which is which, I actually cut this one almost in half, not quite in half. It's going to all be sliced up anyway. And so that is the cayenne. I know the one I cut in half is the cayenne. This one is the black pepper with the garlic powder and the thyme. And the reason I know that is because I had less fat after taking the skin off than what I did on this one. I had this little rut in this one. Now I could have easily just took a marker and marked which was which, but it is what it is. So what I'm doing at this point is I'm going to take these out of the bags. I'm going to give them a thorough rinsing. I'm going to put them in a container of just cold, fresh water. I'm going to let them leach out for about an hour. What that's going to do is get out any excess salt to where this bacon will not be too salty. That's the last thing you want after all this. You don't want to bite into some too salty bacon. And so I would highly recommend you do that. Don't just rinse it and think you're good. Go ahead and give it that soak. As you can see, I have all the pork belly inside of this container of just cold, fresh water. And like I said earlier, this is going to leach out any excess salt. After 1 hour, I will take and I will pat dry all of this pork belly. I will put it on a wire rack that will be suspended to where it has good airflow on a cookie sheet. I'm going to put this in the fridge uncovered and let it sit for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours and let the cold refrigerator dry that surface out just prior to smoking. Let's go outside while this is soaking. I'm going to show you my cold smoke setup. I am actually converting my Lone Star Grill's insulated mini into a coal smoker for today. And let me show you what I've done. I bought this on eBay. I found it. I just searched for coal smoke generator. It's a little homemade job. I've used it once. Seems to do good. If you look in here, you'll see where I've got it full of apple chips. It will also burn pellets. And this is a little tube that hooks to a fish aquarium pump, air pump. And it stops just beyond this 1/2-inch pipe, and that creates like a Ventura effect, which ventilates the smoke through into the chamber here inside the pit. Now I will take and I will release the bottom long enough to light it. Once I light it and it's lit good, I'll close the top and the bottom, and this pump will start pushing smoke into the unit. It'll vent out the very top. So we're going to see how it goes. After running this coal smoke generator a little bit, it started putting out a real heavy bellowing type smoke. I mean really heavy. I was smelling creosote. So this thing is designed to intake through a 2-inch valve. This coal smoke unit has it restricted quite a bit because it's going from 2-inch to 1/2-inch, and at the bottom of the coal smoke generator there's little small 1/4-inch holes that's drilled into it that actually is your intake. So what I've done, if you'll take a look here, is I took my barbecue guru and I put it in the smaller valve. I've got it on. I've got the unit set to look for 250 degrees. There's no heat in this unit, so 250 degrees will never be achieved. Matter of fact, it's ambient temperature in here. No heat is going in this unit. So the fan will continuously run throughout this whole cook, and it's really moving the smoke out of here now. I just took a look. It's perfect. It's a lot like the Masterbuilt smoker was on the last video I did where I did bacon. It was like the perfect amount of smoke. You don't want no heavy smoke because you will get that bitter creosote taste. And so you know, you can cold smoke up to 100 degrees outside temperature, and right now we're in the mid 40s, so it's ideal for making bacon. I'll let the meat dry out in the fridge uncovered for about 2 hours. Now what I've done is I've taken and I've added more of the pepper. This is a cayenne here, this is the ghost pepper, and I put it on pretty liberal because remember this is going to be sliced, and each slice will just have it on the top edge. That looks like a good smoke to me. Alright, there's the two that's going in the coal smoke. What I'm using today to do this hot smoke is my Camp Chef Pursuit. I've got it on 220 degrees high smoke. We're just going to lay this right on top. So I'm going to go ahead and probe right here in the center. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. When it hits 150, we're going to remove it. Alright, the Camp Chef Pursuit is turned off, and this reached its 150 degree nominal temperature throughout the belly here. It's done, and what I'm going to do at this point, I'm going to let it cool off a little bit more. Still a little bit warm, not much, but I'm going to vacuum pack this, and from there it's going into the refrigerator, and it's just going to meld over the next few days, mellow out a little bit, and that gives that smoke time to kind of penetrate and distribute throughout the belly. And I'm going to do the same thing with the coal smoke just as soon as it comes off. I got probably about another hour to hour and a half of smoke left on it. It's been going an hour and a half. This took just a little over an hour, and it's fully cooked, but I will slice it just like any other bacon, and from there it will hit the frying pan. All right, so what I'm going to do is take a vacuum bag, just like I did on the hot smoked, and we're going to drop this in. I've got another one here for our other flavor, which is cayenne, that I've cut into 2 pieces, and still don't really fully understand why I've done that, but I did. No biggie. Alright, we're going to pull a vacuum on this right now, and once I do this, they're going back in the fridge, and they have to hang out in the fridge for about 2 days, and what that's going to do is let this smoke have time to distribute. It's going to have that smoke mellow out some. Same principle with smoked cheese. You never try to eat this immediately after. Of course, this is still raw. You know, it's been cold smoked. Even if you fried, it's too soon afterwards. It needs that few days to mellow out. So that's what we're going to do. And I'll be back in about 2 days, and we will finish this video. All right, now it has been a couple of days. I actually went a little over 2 days. It's been more like 4 days where all this was left in the refrigerator, and it's completely vacuum packed. Bacon in a refrigerator typically has a couple of weeks lifespan, even after you open it from a vacuum most of the time. That's been my experience. So I would say vacuum packed, this stuff would probably be good for 3 weeks to even close to a month. But regardless, I've had it in 4 days, and so that's really giving the smoke time to distribute. Now I want you to take a look here. Look at the size difference between these two and this one. Take a guess which one is the hot smoke. Oh, well, it says so right there. This is already rendered out fat. It's technically fully cooked at 150 degrees. And, you know, what's going to happen is when I slice this, we're going to lay it in that skillet. And you know how bacon normally shrivels up? That's because it's shrinking in size. You're not going to have the shrinkage with this bacon because it's already shrunk. And it should lay real flat as we fry it up. So what I'm getting ready to do is go ahead and take and remove the 3 bacons. I'm going to start slicing with the hot smoked bacon. Then from there we'll do either the ghost pepper or the cayenne. And I'm going to separate each one of these. I'm going to re-vacuum pack most of this, especially this, because this is potential bacon for future videos such as burgers and things like that, to where I can incorporate it into burgers or whatever. And this, I'm not going to refreeze. We will vacuum pack it, put it in the fridge. This will be gone in just a matter of a day or 2, promise. All right, let me go ahead and do that, and I'll bring you back when I pull the slicer into play. All right, here is the ghost pepper. I ended up getting roughly a pound a piece of this. Keep in mind this is cold smoke, nothing is rendered out. All the rendering will take place when we actually fry this up. So this is going in the freezer for later use. Now I've got the cayenne bacon vacuum packed. About the same, about 1 pound per package. All right, we're going to start frying. I have started with the hot smoked version because this bacon is not spicy. This just has some good savory flavors. It's high in black pepper. It's been sprinkled on the surface with black pepper, and that little ridge on the top, you'll be picking up that black pepper, not really any spice to it. So this is going to render out some grease, and I don't want the flavors from the ghost pepper or the cayenne influencing this. So we're going to start with the milder first, then the next milder, which would be cayenne, and then finally ghost pepper last. I'm going to do 2 slices per version. We're going to give it a try. All right, we are done, and somebody's done snagged a piece of my bacon, and it was not me. This is the hot smoked. I'm just going to tear a little piece off of this.
I'll take the rest of that cayenne one, since I broke it off. I already touched
Somebody wants some cayenne too.
It's good.
All right, here we go. Really good flavors. I might have overcooked that just a little bit. It's a little bit more crispy than why I like bacon, but some people absolutely love it that way. It's a little different than using the sodium nitrite in the cold smoke method. It doesn't have quite that same flavor to it to me. It was cured. It's good. Would I do it again? Absolutely, especially if I'm in a hurry. You don't actually have to let this sit for a couple days and let that smoke do its thing. This is ready to eat as soon as it comes off the pit. It's actually fully cooked, as I've stated already. Decent bacon. It's not bad at all. The flavors are real similar to the first time I did bacon video, and the only difference is that that was hot smoked. All right, next let's try the Cayenne. There again, we're just going to tear a little piece off. Okay, that's cooked a little bit better. I like that. Great flavor, great bacon flavor. Picking up a little bit of that Cayenne. The cooking process knocks a little bit of that out, so don't expect it to be super hot. It's not. Now, I'll tell you about the ghost pepper. I'm not sure about that one yet. I like the Cayenne, really good. All right. And this one I cooked the best of all. This is what Ra over there at Cooking Ra calls floppy bacon. That's why I like mine too. All right, here we go. Ghost pepper. 4 hours smoke on that. Man, that smoke is beautiful. That's just right. And yes, sir, I feel the heat. Is it on fire, just blow me out of the water type hot? No. It's definitely there. Got a nice burn. Nice burn. That's not bad at all. Well, folks, that's it. I encourage you to try this. You know, if you want to, it's you're going to end up spending more money than what you can buy store-bought bacon for, but that's not the point. The point is, it's just fun to do. Plus, you can play around with flavors. And that ghost pepper is getting hot now. Takes it about 20 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Definitely got a burn. But I do hope you give this a try. Hot, cold, your preference. Sodium nitrite, no sodium nitrite, your preference. So don't beat me up over using it. It's in a lot of things you eat anyway. Hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, smoke your ribs.